Good morning, everyone. Getting things started here, getting the server serving, getting the streamer streaming, getting those electrons moved up to that higher orbit just to bring this edutainment to you guys. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media universe. So glad to be hosting another episode of this super award-winning and popular show, DYOR Live. It's just so awesome to be the top-ranked show of everything. Better than Dallas, Dynasty, Roots, Star Wars, DYOR Live, all mentioned in the same breath. All right, I might be using a little hyperbole this morning, but that doesn't excuse me from saying that thank you for all joining us on this great day when we have $94,000 BTC. And usually I take this moment, as you all know, to welcome my co-host, but he's disappeared. I'll just keep pointing over here. How you doing, Pedro? Good, good. Nope, not there. Anyway, we got a good show for you today. The topic of today is Teach BTC. Who in your life have you not told about BTC? Who have you not taught about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in general? Who have you not preached the gospel to about Bitcoin and why it's different? Why have you not taught the basics to your family, to your friends, to your cohorts, colleagues, and whoever is in your life? Ladies and gentlemen, you must teach BTC. Why? Because it behooves you to protect your investment in cryptocurrency. Pedro Garcia is back. Ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, Pedro Garcia.
Hey, what up, my people? How you guys doing? Keep it up, keeping strong, keep moving. Oh yeah. How you doing, man? How was your evening?
Good, Pedro. I spend much of it on the phone with you, talking strategies for growing this network up, and how to conquer the world. And we are conquering the world, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting going here. We're boosting up, bootstrapping ourselves up. And Pedro, while you were off doing whatever you do when the show starts, I was telling people that the theme for today is no particular news story in general, but to teach BTC, to teach crypto, to teach the people in your life about what Bitcoin is, to counter the media bias of it, talking about a scam, or even people from the Fed saying it's a worthless piece of paper, and to tell everybody what it's about so that they can make their own decisions and be properly informed about this new asset class that we call cryptocurrency. If you'll recall, perhaps you don't because it was 70 years ago, when they introduced corporate bonds. Corporate bonds were introduced as an asset class in the 50s, not to be confused with war bonds and stuff like that. But they were a new asset class, and people are like, "Well, I don't understand. You're selling me a debt. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. You know, it's just a scam. You're going to go bankrupt, and I'm not going to get my money." And people had a similar style of thought, and the media portrayed it similarly because the powers that be that in that day were in charge of the media, similar to today, and they said this is not a good thing. Turns out corporate bonds are a very good thing, and bonds in general are a good thing, a way to tokenize your debt. Anyway, it was a good thing. And today, the same story is with BTC. We've seen Bitcoin go. It's at $94,000, Pedro. Where did it start? Where did Bitcoin start? Come on, everyone. Where did Bitcoin start? Zero. It's essentially infinity money if you bought it early on. And it's a new asset class. It's not like wealth is being created out of nothing. That's not how it works. It's an asset or money and value and wealth moving from one asset class to another. People are taking the value out of the stock market, out of other investments, and putting it into Bitcoin digital assets. So it's growing. Outsize the regular market. And so you need to teach your people. You need to teach your colleagues, you need to tell people about it, because it's going to continue to do that. But anyway, that's the story for today. Pedro, it went on for a long time with that
it's okay.
intro.
I like it, dude. I like it.
Welcome AI Wolf to the show. Tangent. Thank you very much. Crypto Mike, thank you for the Valor rug pull.
Oh, yeah.
Rumble feed. Oh, shit. I didn't start the Rumble feed. Man, that was such a good intro.
That really was, too.
One of my best intros. Let's do this again here.
One of the news stories we're going to talk about is literally that Rumble is considering actually taking on Bitcoin and being a part of its whole entire network and potentially backing up Rumble with Bitcoin. It is, I think, the second largest streaming platform next to Bitcoin. Or, excuse me.
Next to YouTube. Yeah, it's growing like crazy. So good morning to the people on Rumble. Sorry for not starting the feed on time here this morning. It's a separate button I have to press I can start 7 feeds at once, but Rumble, I got to press the separate button. Sorry for that. Anyway, for those of you on Rumble, this here is Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst and my co-host. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting an episode of this show, DYOR Live, here on the DYOR Media Network. We're so glad that you guys are joining us, either live or watching this in replay. And we're talking about Bitcoin today and why it's important for you to teach the people in your life about Bitcoin in this once-in-a-generation opportunity to get in on a transfer of wealth from one asset class to another.
This is true. This is true. You know what I find interesting? One thing, all you guys who are going to be watching this literally on replay, we are a live show, and we really enjoy connecting and interacting with many of our live individuals, from Kumgar to Dr. Fire Chicken to AI Wolf, and many of the other ones that are over there who interact with us, ask us questions, have us go over charts, and in addition to that, interact with us in regards to our news sources that we talk about. And it's really interesting. Last time we had a cool discussion with Carmen Crypto, who's going to become hopefully a favorite, who will be coming around more often.
We did. We had Carmen on last night for a nice show.
Yep. And so there's just so many cool things that are happening. And so you guys over at Rumble, we would love to really connect with more of our viewers up there. We get up to 300 people who watch our show, which is pretty cool. And during the actual show itself, we get about 200 people, which is pretty cool. And so I would love it if we could actually bring a lot of those people that watch us, up to about 200 people, literally to the show where we could actually connect with them. And as I burp in your ear, forgive me.
I'm literally doing the same thing.
Yes, I was like,
eating my Dunkin' Donuts sandwich while I'm off camera and have you on.
It's so funny. I was in there. I was like, come on, see if I can hold it, and I could feel it, like, you know, when it creeps up. You're like, no, do it. And I was like, mute. So besides that, I guess you guys are avoiding me burping in your ear. Forgive me for it. But on the back end, though, the reality is this: is that love to connect with you. During the show, we typically have about 200 people, which is about 2/3 of the people who typically watch us. So we'd love for you guys to come in and connect with us and really see what's going on, and just connect. And even if it's just say, hey, what's up? I'm here because you told me to, and it's cool. I'm like, dope. And even if you don't want to, it's cool. I get it. You know, there are times where I'm antisocial and I'm like, deuces, I don't want to jump in. But if the guys are cool enough and they poke me enough, sometimes I do. Actually, a lot of times I will do it if they poke me enough. So I'm gonna keep poking. Hopefully you don't just jump on me and roar at me and come stalk me, and all of a sudden I'm like, I was just joking, bro. Come on, relax.
Come on, anyhow.
Bro. So yeah, hit that little sign in button.
Go.
There we are. Okay. So long story short, come interact with us. Love to have you over on Rumble, because the truth is if we keep growing on Rumble, and there's really not a lot of crypto shows, we could become the #1 show over there, all because of you.
We've got you. This morning, 800,000 people watched Steve Crowder.
Wow.
So we need to temper that. Say the #1 show in crypto.
Yeah. #1 crypto show. And I would love it if we could have 50, 60, 70,000 people watching us. I think it's possible. I think we got a pretty dynamic show. It's very
definitely possible. We need to get a production staff to write us better jokes.
I think my jokes are rocking the mic, man.
Ivan, welcome to the show. Ivan Dmitrijevic. Dmitrijevic. I think.
Just say it quick. His teachers.
Right, Dmitrijevic. What is Rumble? Like YouTube? Yes, it's like, just go to rumble.com. And Rumble is a platform where when people get kicked off of YouTube for saying things that they shouldn't say, according to who's your leader of your country, or who's woke, and they go over there because it's a free speech platform. That's how it started. Now it's a much larger streaming platform that many people are on. It's been doing us a nice solid here. We're getting as many or more viewers on Rumble as we are on YouTube. It's fantastic, and they do a better share of the advertising revenue with the creators. Anyway, Ivan, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. How did you join? How did you find out about us? Let's hit some of the usuals here. Let's get out for, ladies and gentlemen, Kaching is in the house. Derek from Minnesota is in the house. Crypto Mike in the house. A little "Oh Canada." We'll just give Kungar. Just
using the whole fist, Doc?
Using the whole fist there, Doc? Yeah, that's right. Who else I think I saw Dara in there somewhere. Got to get Dara a sound effect. You're on mute, Pedro. Got to get him a sound effect of some sort. But I'm struggling.
Yes.
I'm struggling. I mean, it's Irish, but he's in Spain. He's in the finance world. I can't grasp.
Maybe the Wolf of Wall Street. Maybe we could put. You know, you can change the Wolf of Wall Street.
No,
or those AIs who like you can change the. We can do like a Wolf of Wall Street. Like, this is fun money, right? And then but do with a Scottish accent, having him do it.
No, can't do Scottish.
Or excuse me, Ireland. Sorry, he's gonna be like, I'm about to come over there and say hi to you, Mr. Ireland. If anybody is holding, shout out. Oh, that's awesome, Mr. Ivan. Man, so you're coming from us from Dreamcat. That is dope, man. Dope. Thank you for coming out, man. We appreciate you. That's gonna be.
You heard that, didn't you?
I did. Dude, that was so good.
I'm not fucking leaving.
Yo, that's gonna get us shut down on YouTube. That is 2 F words, bro. Like, you guys know, it's also the thing on YouTube is like, even though we're not for kids, like if you use a lot of curse words, they just like again demart. So it's like you got to be really careful, like when you're cursing, and I understand,
Wall Street.
The Wolf of Wall Street. That doesn't work.
We'll use that for Dara.
All right, so we got a lot of stuff going on here. Sup, Mike, Chuck, AI Wolf says, Fook is doing well. Also, yes, Valor Society, shout out Mr. Lawton. ¿Qué pasa? Ivan, look, man, we love to have you. Love having new people come in. Come be part of the family. We all BS, have a good time, but we also educate each other. And then additionally to that, we try to bring to you guys lively, real context. Try to be very diverse in our view in regards to news sources and things of that nature. So it's just been really interesting the last few weeks after the election, and now everything's kind of getting a little crazy. But one thing that is going crazy, but we wanted to go crazy, and that would be Bitcoin.
Boom, boom, boom. Bitcoin, pump it. We're going to pump it up, like Randy Hipper says.
All right, guys, so check this out. So Bitcoin right here. Oh, on the side note, please hit the like, subscribe, and share button to your preferred social media or the one that you don't prefer. Either one will help. Go in it, make a comment, say these guys are crazy, wild and crazy guys. And then
crazy
at the same time,
mofos. Why am I cut off here?
while at the
Half
same
my body
time
is cut off.
being educated. So make fun of us when you post it, and then say these guys are a bunch of knuckleheads, and it'll be fun even more. Jumping back to Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin, jumping from last night, dude, Tom, you called the bottom. You called the bottom.
I called it, but I didn't buy and hold. I bought, sold, sold. And so I ended up making about $5. I made $30 yesterday during the show, and then I gave it back to the great futures machine because I was stupid. I should have just held it. But I'm in a long position now. I bought it right at the bottom of the current, right there. That's where I bought it.
Nice.
I saw a dump, and Pedro and everyone else in the world, but especially Pedro, was saying, man, this shit is going up. So I'm like, I bought it, and I closed the window. I used our sponsor alert, BitFi account, and I bought a couple $100 worth of futures. And I'm buying, forgetting about it. I have a stop in that's down low. It's not going to hit it unless you say there's massive liquidity down there. And I'm just going to let it go without watching it like this.
That's I get it.
I call it it's the trust wallet stare. I need a sound effect for that and a thing, the trust wallet stare where my eyes pop out of my head. Boing! We all remember those days, right, everyone? When in the last bull run when just crazy stuff was going on and all you did was do this with your phone. Like you have a beautiful partner in life next to you laying in bed when you wake up in the morning, and do you turn over and canoodle them? No, what you do is you grab the phone, you do the trust wallet stare. And it wrecks your life. It wrecks your life.
Yes. I was actually making fun of Tom because we'll leave that one alone for another day. Not here. Let's focus.
Welcome, Space Cat, to the house. Yeah, that was too low. Let's try that again.
Space, the final frontier.
There we go. Space Cat, welcome to the house. Thank you very much. I'm going to guess Space Cat is just getting up and is on the way to the gym.
Oh, yeah. Hey, don't forget to do squats. I always tell everybody, never forget squats.
Gotta do that stuff.
You gotta. I probably do about 30, 40 squats easy a day. You know, so there's those things where the girls are like, they go to grab some and then like they bend down and like, they do that, and then they come back up all slow and sexy. Yeah, but I do that more, but not trying to be sexy. But I'm always trying to squat, get up, squat, get up. Anyways, this is just weird. Okay, let's check out Bitcoin here and what actually happened here. All right, so yesterday we talked about we were reaching about this level here. I said, guys, right here we should see it pop up above. This is what we want to see, right? I talked about us coming from here up, tapping up in here, come down, and then popping up, boom, and then throwing out, or just going up, right, from there. I expected us to come down a little bit further down into these levels here, but it actually found support on the daily the 15. As Tom here said, it found support on the 15, the 200. That was so hard to say. 200 period moving average on the 15. And you can see as it started tapping in, I said, well, I guess it could come down. But it started to sell through it here. So I thought we were definitely going to be coming down here last night. And then potentially either hit the 400 and or that 90. But it found support here actually on our show and then started just climbing. And so we should have ended up on Bitcoin. So I could have talked about, so our guys could have actually got in on this rally up. So remind us next time, if we're doing this at night, say, Pedro, go over the charts at the last bit so I can give you guys the kind of send you off to see if most likely it's going to go up or go down for the evening. So you guys can kind of take part in that as a money.
Wait, hold on, Pedro. Go over the charts. Go over what was you just telling me? I'm reminding you. Because why? Because I'm restarting the Twitter feed because once again, Twitter is having a problem. Anyway, welcome Twitter viewers to the show. Pedro Garcia, crypto chart analyst, is going over Bitcoin right now, so pay attention.
Alrighty, guys. So Bitcoin currently right now, after the top off that we went through last night or yesterday, we came up here, came back down, came up and got buyers. Now we're seeing it send. So actually, I talked about we want to see volume come up in this level here. If you want to see it tapping hard, come out, find support on this level here, and then push back up. And this is where, now again, I talked about us hitting that 95 to 95 area, or 95 to 96 area here. Came just shy of it, where we hit 94,658. You talk about a tease here. So this is always a good sign when it's playing here, because when it comes down into this area, it's again buying support here. Okay, and then we're going to see it then climb back all the way up here, and potentially even blow past that 95, and maybe even tap that 100,000 mark. It's going to be really interesting, because I personally think we're going to hit a resistance where it's going to come back down, just like we saw right here.
Pedro, I think in my non-technical, total emotional opinion, that the 100,000 mark is going to be very difficult to break. And I'd love to take a look at the heat maps or liquidity and stuff to see where orders are in to sell. And it's just one of those barriers that you see in lots of markets, whereas a number that's important, it doesn't get there. It gets right up close to it, gets close to it, and until some serious money comes in and says, let's push through this, it's going to bounce off of it a number of times. And we're going to be live on this show going, please, for the love of God, break through it so we can celebrate. But it won't. And it'll do it like 3 a.m. when China or Malaysia or markets just say, all right, we're doing it now. That's my prediction. Yeah, this is a great, what is going on here? Bitcoin up, everything else down.
Well, we talked about this. I said, guys, look, remember, I expect when this hits it, that everything's going to turn. Our play that we're capitalizing on it is the Solana play, right? As it comes down, we're expecting this, we back here when we were hitting the all-time high here of this cycle, not the all-time high, but just the all-time high for this local high. I said, guys, I'm expecting to see this thing come back down here, right? And so, sure enough, right, what did we see? We saw a good little drop edge on it, and now we're seeing it kind of chill. So, and this is a good thing, because, right, we talked about this here on the here on the show here, expecting, and I was trying to warn a lot of my friends that are in meme coins, who are in the Solana meme coin world. We're probably going to see a bit of a sell-off here, right? So make sure you're skimming profits off the top so you can buy in at a lower rate. And so a lot of the times I'm trying to let people know, hey, look, things are going to be happening here. Don't get freaked out. This is all part of the master plan of seeing Bitcoin get to not 100,000, but $1 million.
$1 million.
So here we go. And remember, we need we need sellers to happen for us to push up, because those sellers allow buyers to have an equal exchange. That's a good thing. And so as we really start to push this, it's going to be really interesting to see. One thing I'm wondering, and we'll go over the last little bit here, and then we can talk about the actual derivative side of options trading that is actually coming out here. I think it's today. It's the first World Day of options trading for Bitcoin on a few other places.
Really?
And,
they just launched? I thought it was going to be next year, but
I thought it was today. Maybe I'm wrong. I read. Dang it! That just sucked.
Was that your whole bottle of water there?
A little bit. No, but it still just went. So
I hope you have a dog. Come clean that up off the floor.
I wish I had a dog too. That would be great. Well, what's funny? As a kid, I was a part of this foster family that would let this dog, and I really wasn't the nicest to this dog, which I totally regret, because it really wasn't the dog itself. It was actually the person or the family that I lived with, and they would be just total dicks to me. But like I love dogs, man. As I remember, like I was like, yeah, okay, dogs. And then as I got older, man, like my buddy had this dog that I was living with, and man, how he just would come up and sit next to me, and he's like, "What's up, dude?" And like I started petting him, and when I'd get stressed about, because I was just learning how to trade and stuff, he'd always come up next to me, and he'd just be like, "Are you okay?" Like, and then I'd be like, "Do you want to go for a walk?" And he would set his neck or his chin right on my lap. And so I'm like, "Okay, let's go for a walk."
Aww.
And he'd be like, no, he would literally chill and he'd be like, no, and he'd look at the chair, and I'd be like, "You just want to be next to me?" Like, he was like, and so I'd sit back down, and then he'd place his chin on my lap, and then I started realizing when I started getting stressed out, he would come over and just chill right next to me, like, "It's okay, my dude, you're good." And I just, from that moment on, dude, I fell in love with dogs. I was how old was I? I was 27. Yeah, 27.
Long time ago. Very long time ago.
About 20 plus years ago. So, or I would say 20 plus, but getting there. Anyways, so let's check this out here real quick.
Wait, hold on, Pedro. If you can believe it, I know you can't. I know it's difficult to think. We've been on the air for 30 minutes already. I don't know how that's possible. We've just barely talked about Bitcoin. We've talked about the intro to the show and that type of stuff. So we're gonna take the old 1 minute break here that I'm starting to get good at doing. So we'll be right back in just a moment. All right, everybody. Thanks for putting up with us during that commercial break there. Thank you to YouTube for running some ads that probably tell you how to fix your sex life, lose weight, or go up the stairs automatically. Those are the ads that I get. Anyway, Pedro, as we're talking, we spoke about Bitcoin. We'll hit Bitcoin again in a little while later in the show. But there's a couple of news topics that are happening right now and things like that. And am I looking green today?
No, you don't look like you're gonna throw up. You look great.
Once again, in front of me here is not only the massive empire of DYOR Media's technical prowess, otherwise known as my living room. It is also a big window, and I have this curtain over it to try to attenuate the light. And when the sun pops out after being cloudy, it changes things. And like yesterday when I was Star Trek beaming away, today I'm turning green because the light changes. And it drives me crazy.
And he's attenuating.
It drives me crazy. Ooh, ooh, like no. Name that band.
Other lady.
Whoever names that band first besides you, Pedro, wins. It drives me crazy. Ooh, ooh. All right, I think it's She Drives Me Crazy.
It is. She drives me crazy, but it's okay. I wasn't gonna get all.
Hello from Manchester, Extreme Car Care. Thanks for joining us. Diggs on Twitch. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Hey, what's up? Diggs, we pay attention to Twitch, but come on over to YouTube or Rumble and join the conversation. Somebody needs to keep Chuck.
Come on over.
Company on Rumble. As Chuck says, it's lonely on Rumble today. Let the ads play during the break. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, when we go to commercial break. Oh, see, the sun just went in and my greenness went away. Look at that. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, now you're bright. You're like an angel, Tom. Send me in. I was like, send me an angel. Oh. Anyways, that actually sounded very good, dude. Dude,
is that
there was this guy.
The Foo Fighters? No.
No, that was like an old 70s. And that was, if anybody remembers the old movie Rad. Remember with the bike guy? He was all trying to learn how to do the 180
Rolling Rod,
flip.
welcome to the show. Pedro, I've heard of that, but I don't remember that.
Oh, dude. As a kid, that's where Jesse on Full House, remember? What's his name's wife? Uncle.
Jesse on Full House. I'm thinking Jesse on Saved by the Bell, the girl that wrecked her movie career with that awful movie Showgirls.
Dude, that was like horrid, dude. I remember. Anybody remember that? Ira was like, "Oh dear God," like, and she was so sporadic, like cokehead, like, yeah. And she wasn't supposed to be like a cokehead, like on it. It was
the worst. I know a bunch of you guys aren't recognizing what we're talking about, but I'm sure there are a few of you who watched the old Saved by the Bell and were like, she's hot. And then when she finally did a movie,
the schoolgirl hot though.
It was the worst. I think my dad even saw the movie, and he was like, "Son, that was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life." And I've watched some bad movies.
Pretty much. Feel bad for her, and it did. After that, you maybe saw her in one other or two other movies, but that was it. You know what also kind of blew me away is looking at some of the stuff that actually came out after. And jumping back to the movie Rad, anyways, bike movie. The song "Send Me an Angel" was the first time I ever heard it, and the girl on it, who I totally fell in love with as a kid. As a kid, you have such huge crushes. You're like, that person is so amazing. Wow, and you're like, and as a kid, you're like, I wonder what their favorite candy is, right? Like those little things. You're like, what is their favorite ice cream? Man, I hope they would like strawberry. In your head, right? Like, because as a kid, your brain doesn't really go to certain places, right? And so, anyways, long story short, when I saw her on Full House as Uncle Jesse's wife, I forget her name, but man, I was just like, wow. Like, I just was always enamored with her. Like, wow, she's so pretty. Like that childhood prettiness.
Elizabeth.
She was also the one.
What's her name? Elizabeth something.
Yeah, but she was also the one who got in trouble for trying to get her kid into Yale. Was it Yale or Harvard by paying the fee?
Oh no,
that
wasn't her. That's a different.
No, it was. No, I'm telling you what. There was a bunch of them, but she was the one who was made an example. But there was a bunch of people out there that basically got in trouble. Anyways, so let's go ahead and move on because we need to get moving.
Tangent from hell.
Yeah, legitly. So we got this 95 area here. I'm gonna sign this up here. We're gonna put this right here, and we're gonna sit there and say, I'm expecting us to do something similar like this as we move up, but expect this type of movement here, where you see it pop up, come back down the next day, see it clear above it, until we get to about that 100,000. I'm hoping, because I think Monday, I think it was Tuesday, that I talked about us either this day or it was maybe Monday, that I said we could potentially see by the end of the month here 100,000 Bitcoin. So fingers crossed, we'll see what's up. But I'm pretty I'd just be shocked with the way we're moving, how many points we're moving on each leg. I mean, look at this leg here, right? Consolidation, push up. That's this right here, consolidation, push up.
Yes, Chuck, it was, sorry, Pedro. It's Lori Loughlin was the one.
Lori Loughlin.
They made the example of, yes. And she was like, what? Yes, people don't pay to get ahead in the line? She's like, of course everyone's doing it in everything every time. And they're like, you are an evil woman. You paid people. I was like, and the politicians were speaking down to her. And I'm like, yeah, you're politicians. That's what you do.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's literally what they do. Like, come on. Like, really? You make sure. I mean, even better, they'll try to get them into the best schools, but what they're really trying to do is get them into the top notch, like trading firms like Goldman Sachs as major hedge fund managers or managers within their top echelon. And then all of a sudden, when Goldman Sachs wants to get something passed through Congress, they just say, "Hey, your kid's coming of age, right?" "Oh yeah. Excellent," right? A little quid pro quo there, quite a bit all over the place. But anyways, as I digress, so I think we are having tangents today. You know what this is? This is Wednesday Tangent Day, dude.
Got to think of some alliteration there.
Yes.
Tangent, it would be Tangent Tuesday, tangent, but technical Tuesday.
Or what's another word for tangent? As you figure that out, let's.
That begins with a W, so we can have some alliteration.
Yes. Wallenberg. No, that's not it. That popped in my head. I don't know why I even said that. Anyways,
Mike the Cryptonaut in the house. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. For a second, I thought it's Kirk Hammett, but it's Pedro based on the hair. Cheers, Tom and Pedro in the community. Kirk Hammett. What's up, Jeff Ledger in the house? There's no technical difficulties today. Everything's running great. Pedro, I need to know if you agree with our friend AI and his prediction of a $12,000 ETH. I can tell you for sure that Pedro thinks ETH will go to $12,000, but the question is when?
When? Keyword is when. I definitely think I don't think that is shy of it. I do think we could, and I do think we could hit. I think we could hit a $15,000 ETH this cycle. It just depends if they, and we're going to talk a little bit about this. If the institutions bring out the volatility within crypto, it could take 12 years, 13 years for us to really have the explosions that I'm expecting to see. Because what happens is options trading help balance out. It puts a 10-to-1, 20-to-1 ratio on the actual system, and there is a derivative to it that correlates with. It's a 10-to-1 ratio, and it's broken up. So what happens is people make as much money without the volatility of the extreme pushes, right? And so we could see something similar to that in relationship to Bitcoin. But I also say it like this: we've also had the CME, which is a 50-to-1. The micro is 5-to-1 of Bitcoin, and the CME big contract is a 50-to-1 ratio. So if we went up $1,000, right, you made it 50,000 or 5,000 that day for the CME. So we already have derivatives for it, that which they can really capitalize on it. So I don't know if it will really have. Here's the thing: the reason why it's also important, you can deploy little amounts of money to get a lot of money for it. So let's say I don't have like $10,000 to trade the micro Bitcoin. So what I can do is I can sit there and say, well, I do have $200-300. I can play a strategy within Bitcoin where I can play, let's say, an iron condor, or I want to do just a simple strategy, or I just want to sell a put, right? And say, hey, it's only going to go to, I don't think it's going to go below here, right? Or hey, you're going to sell a call option, right? Where all of a sudden it will only go up this far, and that will actually help mitigate, and you can actually make money on that. The major pushes within the crypto market. So I guess I could see it that way, but I think we got a long time before that really takes off.
Wandering Wednesday, Chuck says.
Wandering Dude, Dr. J is always on point. I love it. Dude, it's Wandering Wednesday, baby. Dude, he really is, man. Dude, and the reason why we call him doctor, because he's legitimately like a doctor.
He's the actual doctor.
Yeah. What, are you a gynecologist? What are you, man? You are super smart, bro.
A gynecologist.
Listen, man, I think out of all the doctors, the ones that need to be the most, just on point, is the gynecologist. Because one wrong move.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DYOR.
Dude, I know that one day is going to be brought up to haunt me. I know it. Legit. That's good. Our subscribers just went down.
Demonetized.
Demonetized, dude. They're like, get that guy off the internet. He is too wild and crazy, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, my comment machine doesn't seem to be working well today. They said an upgrade needed to be pushed, and so I'm not getting to all the comments, especially those of you that are scammers on Twitch. So sorry for not.
I see him though. I do see him.
Not doing
I
that.
see it. Hello, friends.
I'll try and reload everything.
Well, I actually see him right here. So, hello, friends. You stream so really well. That's why I follow you. I do see you streaming a lot, but yet still not affiliated and partnered. I got a proposal for you, and I will share your streams to a Kick community for you to hit 1,000 followers with 700 viewers and earn nothing less than $1,000 per stream and enable your subscription button. Add me on bleep if you're interested. And his name is Herlihy02.
That's weird how it blurred that out. The comment machine. I don't even, on the original chat, it blurred it out too, not even just in the comment machine. Anyway, thank you for putting up with our blathering on and our, as Chuck says, Wandering Wednesday.
Yes.
I guess we can just be happy when the market's going up. So,
yes, it is. I do have to admit, we are a bit more jovial when it is pushing. You know what I'm saying?
Chuck says he is a family practice physician at a.
That's what I'm talking about.
We'll use the word clinic, but at a practice in Oklahoma. And as he says, that's what he does to mine fiat.
There we go. Dude, I love those family practices, man. I went to my family practice when I was on Medicare and as a foster kid. And I went there for because I had to get a turn your head and cough. And I'm a grown man, 18-year-old boy. Maybe I was 20.
Where's this one going?
Oh yeah, but the thing is you have a doctor there who's I've never known anything else, right? You're supposed to go find your own, right? But I'm like, where am I supposed to go? I don't know where to go to get a doctor. I don't even know how to do all this thing. So I made a call like, hey, can you come check me out? They send this, and mind you, dude, I was a yoked up dude, and so they send this like 20-year-old, 19-year-old like girl in there, and I'm like, you're not gonna do this, right? Like, you're not gonna do this. We're not gonna. That's all I'm gonna say. Hey guys, if you could do us a quick favor, please hit that over you guys with this great amount of comedic style over here.
I had a similar thing happen to me, Pedro. Oh my God! It was a required. It was I gotta say for what it was for, but I had to get a physical.
Right. Mine
I have a truck driver's license, and you need a medical for it. Right. And the medical does not involve the intimate parts of your body for a transportation medical. But I had to combine it. I combined it with a traditional physical to get an update on my health. It was like 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
Got it.
And in my eyes, this tiny little woman walks in, and she was like Egyptian or something like that. So, and she looked even younger, and she's like, you got a cough. And I'm like,
you're like,
we're not going there because weird things are going to happen down there that I won't. It was
like, and women like look at you like you're a perv, and every guy here knows, like 95%.
It's DNA. It's going to happen.
Dude, that's the problem. We all of y'all that are listening know, like, some cute girl comes in and like your wife, if your wife's there, like imagine that. You're like that. I mean, I'm so glad,
no wife
bro.
Goes to a male physical. They're like, no, I'm not going in that room.
I think it's different. Yeah, but I think it's different with women versus. I think it's different with men and women, right? Men. Anyways, we all know 95% of us are men here, okay? And we understand. And the majority of us, honest, because our demographics, they're all around our age, right? Like 45 and up. But shout out to you boomers and our generation Xers and up. Shout out to you guys. Whoop whoop. Are you Xer? Yeah, you're an Xer too, right, Tom?
I'm a child of the 60s. I don't know where that fits in.
Oh shoot, I think.
If you can believe that, I was born in the 1960s. If you can believe it.
You are old, bro.
Trust me. Every morning I know that. Like, ugh. Which side of the daisies am I on? Am I looking up at the daisies or looking down at them? Okay, I'm still looking down at them. Jeff Ledger says, my family doctor is absolutely gorgeous, and it's a love-hate feeling. I feel for you, Jeff. I feel for you. I remember that moment that the doc walked in, and I was like, oh, bad things are going to happen. This is bad. And I had to... It's not good. Especially because growing up, when I was younger, my pediatrician was like a 60-year-old guy, but he looked 80. And then my next primary doctor was another older gentleman that just looked like a truck had hit him. And then I moved around a lot, lived all over the world and stuff, and so I had various different people be doctors. But then I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to this place here. It works well with my insurance. And then she walks in, and I was like, oh, crap. And fortunately, I've never seen her again. She was in and out and stuff like that. But I just remember that feeling. I was like, oh, no. Oh, I'm like looking for the cameras. Is this a porn shoot? You know, I'm at the doctor.
You're just like, it just feels awkward. I don't know. But, I think women don't like it, too, but they just have to do it. It's like, all right. And I don't think there's like comments.
Sorry.
What is it? No, I haven't. What did they say?
It's Chuck. I used to have this one older patient that spent a small fortune on her anterior accessories and would always have some complaint and reason to get them out. Weirded me out a lot. She liked you, Chuck.
Dude,
she liked you.
Wow. Well, yeah, I don't know.
Wasn't that a Seinfeld episode?
I was going to say that reminded me of the Seinfeld episode. What about Mike? Mike says, for a second, I thought it was Kurt. Oh, why is this? Why am I paused here? What's going on here? My family doctor is absolutely gorgeous, and it's a love-hate relationship. Feeling okay. What's going on? Why am I not? Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize. I went totally off on that left field here. Okay. What are we talking about, dude?
I don't know. It's Wandering Wednesday.
It is Wandering Wednesday. Let's someone get a pullback here for our people here. So obviously Bitcoin is coming up into this 95 area that we talked about. Expect something like we saw here again today. We'll probably hit it, come back down, pull back, and then push higher until we get about the 100,000. Now we have two options with the 100,000. Okay, the one is we have a similar situation. We hit it, as Tom said, and we come back down to this 90,000 area, or we could potentially shoot right through it and hit that 111 area, and really just kind of something similar like we saw right here where we just pushed through. And so there's two options here. One being this, we climb up to that 100,000, we come back down, do something like this, and come back down to here. Okay. Or we can see something like this where it literally comes up. We see it come up right here. We pop it, come down right here, and just shoot up again. And so it's very possible we could see something like that, especially if we see volume step in as we're climbing up to the 100,000. If we see something like this where we're just seeing volume kick in, that is something that we could see volume, and honestly, Bitcoin just skyrocket. So that's it in a nutshell right there. Wow, we're almost 2/3 of the way through this show, and we finally get to Bitcoin.
Hey, Pedro, we're going to take a 1 minute break again. Feed the YouTube commercial break. We'll be back with you in just a moment. All right, everybody. Thanks for putting up with us during our break there. I forgot to put the countdown on, so just left you guys an alert. Chuck says, watch the ads. Don't skip them. Please watch them.
Please do. Please do. That does help us out immensely.
Pedro, our viewership is lacking today. Today it must be an off day for some reason here. We're not getting
we're also just kind of being a goofballs and not giving much, but it's all good.
True, but that would indicate that people came and didn't like us and left. We're not even seeing the people coming today. So for some reason, the algorithm isn't liking us today. So let's have some fun with the charts here. And,
all right.
I would like for you to tell us what the Robotics Evolution token is doing. It is selling off like crazy. We're currently at a 50% loss on it. And I'd like to find out where the levels are. And of course, I could use my basic knowledge of what you've taught me over the years here to figure it out. But I'd like you to look at it and say,
Things that make you go, I shall. Okay. So one of the things I think that's really important to be looking at here is the volume coming in and what's actually happening. So
this is a token that Pedro and I hold in our, I call it our show wallet.
And our show wallet. People are selling off. It's just what it is. It looks like people are coming in and they are selling off. It did have a decent amount of volume yesterday, and now we're coming down into this intraday time frame. We got below the 8-period moving average here, and it shot up. You can see, let's check out the inter time frame here. Yeah, it shot up right here with low amounts of volume. But then you can see from here on up, as it came up, we definitely saw sellers come in later in the afternoon, and they just sold off. So that's in a nutshell. People are taking profits. I mean, whoever got in at these lows of,
right,
5,000, 6,000, they want to put their money into other things. And so that's what we're seeing here.
But what's strange for me is when you just take a general look at the chart, it doesn't look like the normal meme coin or, project without, a proper company behind it, which pop up really quickly and then everyone takes their money out in the next week or so. It's kind of got the chart just looks different than other ones. And so in looking at it, excuse me, Dunkin' Donuts coming back to haunt me. I'm thinking it's a sell-off, but it seems to me that it's a sell-off getting ready for a blast-off. So I'm kind of looking if it's hitting the volume targets. No, the volume's not really there. It's
yeah, like there's really not much about it. It went up, and then and the majority of this green volume is red. When you look at the inner time frames, I mean, if you look at your 4-hour, that's this right here. Right, from yesterday on, you can see we had much more kind of higher volume. Right, we had this huge sell-off, higher volume, right up in here, higher volume coming in. So people are taking profits. We are at a level right now, as you guys can see, which is the 1388 and the 1020 area here, that I did expect to see this thing bounce off of. So I gave you guys 2 entry points, one being the 02 or 002532 to the 002115 area. So it's one of those things that we could definitely see a bounce off of in relationship to the actual market. As we see if it's going to explode here, we want to see some good volume, at least starting about right here, going right. We want to see it to at least get up to here at this level. For volume wise, if not much higher, simply because you need to offset that amount of volume coming in. It's trading off of that 8-period moving average, as you can see, which is basically, you can see on the 8-period are on the 8 hour, that 8 period moving average is definitely being traded off of. So it's got to fight that. So when we come back up now, this resistance level is going to turn into or this support level is going to turn into resistance level. So now we potentially could see this thing kind of come in, kind of play right here, right? And if we have a lot of green volume that starts, we start to see people step in on this, then that changes everything, you know. But it's gotta do what it needs to do, and that's this right here. Ooh.
Ladies and gentlemen, Larry is in the house.
What's up, Larry? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, that is cool. I guess they started doing that. So this is something that we need to see. Something that looks like this, where it just comes in, shoots through, comes back, finds support, and then shoots through and finds support here again. You've got to see that. If we don't see that with good volume, then it's not. It just won't push up, you know. Unfortunately, but you know, it's a meme coin, but it's also a, you know, it's
an AI play, is what we'll call it.
An AI play. Yeah.
All right, so you know, I'm just sitting here thinking, for our show wallet, should I just hold it until life's end, or should I sell it and try another meme coin? Might as well just hold it and see what happens to it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if anything, we're at a crucial point here where it's going to come back down to, and we could very much see it find support right here and then push up. But it's got to be able to get through that 8 period on the 8 hour. Once it does that, then you should start to see again volume kick back in. We have the 8 hour daily, which is sitting also right above us. So again, so we've got some resistance here. If this thing gets above this stuff, we could easily see it get back all the way up to, I mean, next thing you could see is a 20-cent mark level, right? Because it hit that 10 cent, came back, found support, and now it hit that 20, potentially even 30, if it really captures the heart of the masses. So and it, you know, it's always kind of hard to understand what is actually going to catch, but this all-time high was 10 million. I would love to see at 20 or even potential at 30 mil, right? And if it does that, cool. Granted, I'm also saying that because I want my bag to grow, but also at the same time, realistically, it's going to be a little bit difficult for it to get above these resistant levels. So we'll find out what happens as we continue. So Larry is in the house. What's up, Mr. Larry? How's your day going, my brother? Hope you're doing well. Whoop, whoop.
I'm guessing that's Larry from MetaTrust.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming too. Good to see you. Good to have you.
Unless we have more than one Larry follower, which is entirely possible.
Very much so. I have a brother named the name that name, and is a good guy. And you know, my brother Larry is an old thug.
You know what? Come to think of it, I don't think I have anyone in my sphere of influence, life, friends type thing with the name Larry. It's since elementary school. Since like 4th grade, I think. It's like a number of years ago you didn't hear, nobody was named Jack.
Yeah.
And then all of us, my son, Striking Jr. is named Jack. His named John, but Jack, the Irish version of John. Mm-hmm. You've seen that before.
This is the most epic thing in the world.
To listen to someone finish a sentence that they already understood within the first few seconds. Trust me, I know that.
Oh, good God. It was so good, dude. It was so good. Relate. I have ever asked colleagues yes or no. It's so good, dude. This stuff is so good. Anyway, sorry. I just know I just went totally left field there. All right, jump back here. So you've never had a friend of yours who was named Larry? Interesting.
No.
I've had quite a few. I've actually had quite a few Lawrences, Larry.
I've had Lawrence.
Larens. I had one person named Larens.
Larry.
No,
yeah, I have to say it. I'm thinking through the old striking system here. Which is running quite well today, I might add. Had a good night's sleep last night. I mean, streaming for 6 hours yesterday.
There we go. There we go. Now, I think one of the things that we could talk about here real quick also is, and let's check up on this Solana trade here. Our
Solana. That's like a 70s song there somewhere. Solana.
Yes, sir. So we came down, we hit our area right here on that 5-minute zone. Not 5 minute, but I think this was the 3 hour or the 2. No, this would be the 4. Sorry, this is 4 hour right here. So we came off, we hit this area last night around 10 o'clock. So we bounced off of this. We came up to tap this area here. Now we're coming back and testing this area. We need to see more volume come through this area if we're going to capture. I hope you guys caught in on this trade. Like I always, put in a set and forget it. Put your stop down below here. And as this thing climbs up, boom, it's always to make money. But still, it's now coming back down. And it's picking up more of seller volume versus buyer volume. So I'm expecting this to continue down past our area. This has already been traded now, so it's probably act as resistance as we shoot through this. I'm expecting us now potentially to come back down to that 193 on Solana. If we cut through this, the only thing that's going to stop us is that 212 area here, which is another thing that it's going to be really interesting to see if it's able to hold. Just for all of us to make sure we're paying attention to. So there's that 212 area right here, like what I'm talking about. And then also this area right here of that 225. We could find some support here, but it's really not like a strong support around the daily. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant to say we're going to bounce off of that 8 here. We could, but the fact that we pierced through this and eaten through this would make me more bearish on this. So that's why I'm more bearish on Solana here right now until we come down to lower levels where we can pick up some buyers. So I'm gonna draw one more zone here. There we go.
A new zone, ladies and gentlemen.
A whole new zone.
But people are talking about Solana. They're really bullish on it. Like it's gonna be.
Oh yeah.
The greatest thing since sliced bread, and talking about it going to like 1,000, 5,000, this type of stuff.
I think it's possible.
Which for me, I mean, that's a lot of money into Solana. I mean, it's, as they say, some serious cake here.
Mm-hmm. But the key is this: is when I think about the idea of the every time it's bought, every time it is used. Right, on those meme coins, all of those meme coins get stuck. And all of a sudden, they're not going to be able to get used anymore. And then, every time you buy it, then they burn one. So it's again, as supply keeps getting eaten up, the demand for it increases. Not I want to say exponentially, but it has almost this reverse effect that we call why is my brain blanking? Not inflation, reverse inflation idea. It's just that it literally just slows down. Like, whereas inflation would, kind of eat up the supply, right? Like this has that area where it basically, it's like reverse. And because of that, there's less supply of it. It's going to push up. It's just supply and demand. This is how it works. So I'm very bullish on Solana, but I know that we're at a supply area where there are a bunch of sellers that we could potentially see it come down. But this is really the last hoorah before we are at all-time highs. That 259, 260 area is all-time high. Once we pass above that, it's gone. It's gonna. I'm pretty positive it's just free flow, and then it's gonna do price discovery after that. And so, and I think because of all the not the Bitcoin, but all the meme coins, that just like when we saw BNB, remember when we saw BNB just start to pump and just go absolutely bonkers, right? I think that's going to be something that we could very much see with Solana. Imagine seeing a $600 Solana. You know,
that would be something.
You know, it would be neck and neck with Ethereum. You know, it's already $100 billion cryptocurrency. This thing could shoot up to 500 billion pretty easy.
Well, according to the great graphics machine that was just up, we had $10 billion of trading. Let me put that back up. $10 billion of trading in the past 24 hours on Solana, and 110 billion on the market cap. Let's see, million, billion, 110 billion on the market cap, which when I think about it, it seems to be quite low. I mean, Ethereum's at 500 billion, Bitcoin's at 2 trillion. Solana, people talk about it more than they do Ethereum. It seems like it should be valued much higher, and the market seems to want it, but the overabundance of sellers don't let it go. Don't let it appreciate it and get that market cap that it kind of feels like it just should have. You know, that's my overall look at it. You're like, why is that? It's like when you look at XRP. You look at XRP, it's like that should be at its all-time highs. It should be mooning, this type of stuff, and you're like, why? And it turns out the foundation is selling XRP to fund the operations of Ripple, and you're like, oh, that's why it's down. But for Solana, it's like it should 5x here. It should be a $500 billion market cap.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I just think right now with what we're seeing, people, maybe institutions want to get more of it. And so they're playing backroom politics with it, and they're going through, they're shorting it. I mean, people don't realize you have a Solana futures trading desk on the CME. I mean, you have, and they connect with Bittrex, right? Like, you don't understand, like, there's already major institutions that are in it that you don't even know they're shorting it. Like, that's the part I was trying to pass down. I was trying to get this through some communities of, look, they have the ability to trade this without you even know that they're trading it, right? Just like we saw, like, why was Bitcoin going sideways from February all the way to November? Or was it March all the way to November, right? Literally because of the elections, because there's too many people out there who wanted to take part in this and got a full bag of Bitcoin from 50, right, to around 70. So now we potentially could see a huge explosion up from that. And then when we pull back, it'll be a different story. But as of right now, they've got to look good for their, what's the word I want to use? Their investors who invested to their funds. And so they've got to justify these certain things. And so as XRP and/or Solana, the more they can pick up out of these low rates before the real, like, bull run starts to get going and we start seeing major volume step in, it's just going to look good for them. You're right, because they're buying these assets that nobody even knows about yet. Right, like, you go to your grandpa, you go to even your friends, you're talking about Solana, and they're like, what? What are you talking? What do you mean Bitcoin? Bitcoin that's cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is cryptocurrency. And you're like, no, cryptocurrency is a genre of cryptos. It's the term. It's almost like the movie Thriller, right? If you want to go watch a thriller, it's a genre of movies. Crypto is a genre of currencies that are digital. And so so it's interesting to educate people on just the terminologies, right? Like, when I talk to somebody about, like, the Bible, and I say, Satan, and then they go, yeah, that bad guy. And I go, well, God himself calls himself a Satan. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, God called himself a Satan. Absolutely. And two different areas. One area he calls himself Yahweh, the other one he calls himself Satan. So how does that one work, right? And then and a lot of them are Christian people that I talk with. I work with a lot of, or I have a lot of interactions with Christians, and so a lot of our conversation goes into theology, and then from there goes into money, sex, and politics. Right? It's just whatever. But yeah, educating our friends and letting them know, right? Like, hey, crypto is dope. It's not just only Bitcoin. You have opportunity in so many dope areas that it's almost kind of endless right now. until really the government comes in and says, okay, unless you have, $20,000, you can't trade this. I mean, that'll probably come.
Or in Canada, if you don't know, has a limit on how much you can own of a cryptocurrency.
Oh, really?
Like if you buy Matic, or if you buy whatever, if you buy USDT, or you can only own $30,000 worth. You're not allowed to own more. It's the weirdest thing. When you go into your exchange, it says when you buy $1,000 of USDT, it says 1,000 of your $30,000 limit used. I shit you not.
So do you go get into another exchange and do it? You have to get into another exchange and pay for it again? I mean,
people. Well, you have to KYC, but they're not talking to each other, so you would have more than one, or you have to hold more than one. You have to put 30, your limit in USDT, USDC. You have to. It's the weirdest thing.
I just don't understand.
Nobody does, and no one can explain it to me. They're like, well, we're just trying to protect the investor by limiting how much they own. I mean, if you've got $30,000 to hold in USDT, you're not worried about your money. It's the weirdest thing. It's the strangest thing. I've been ignoring the comments here for the past little while here. Sorry about that, everybody. Larry says, "What's up, brother?
How are you doing, dude? What up, what up, what up, what up?" Dang.
Star Baby says, "One giant meme coin." Yes. Dr. Fire Chicken, need more rumblers. Yes, our rumble number is going up here. Thank you very much. You know what I just did, Pedro? Let me tell you what I just did.
What did you just do?
I didn't tweet. That's the wrong word. I composed on Truth Social. On Donald J. Trump's platform, I composed a post or whatever, I don't know what they call it there, and said, please join us on Rumble, and all of a sudden our numbers went up. So perhaps, although I have zero followers, or no, I shouldn't say the DYOR Media channel on Truth Social has 1 follower. I don't know who
go.
So I don't know if anyone actually read the message. But all of a sudden, thank you to Rumble. I point over here because that's where my Rumble count machine is on.
Absolutely, right over here is where mine is at. Boom.
Welcome back, Fire Chicken. He says to himself. He says to himself. Except Manitoba, we didn't sign that. So perhaps the limit is a provincial thing. Mike, I haven't thought about that. I haven't thought if it was provincial or not.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Wow. Dude, you're right. So I forget that you guys do have sections up in Canada where you can go tell Trudeau and Parliament, right, to go F themselves.
Yeah, it is different from the States. Here in the States, the provincial governments they're more autonomous in certain areas.
Yeah.
In certain areas, they're more autonomous. And it's really weird because the head of the government is the King of England, or the King of the United Kingdom, King Charles.
Which is kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy, but he did own all the land at once. And, here in the U.S., too, we had to get rid of him with a bunch of guns and stuff. But literally, the title to my car says in the right of the King of Canada. Literally on your deed, it says the King of Canada and that type of stuff. I forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah, so he's the head of the government, but nobody ever sees him or anything like that. It's the weirdest thing. It's the strangest thing. He doesn't visit. The Queen hasn't visited. She didn't visit. The last time she visited was 1957 or something like that. And then of course she expired recently, and now the King, and he's no plans to come to Canada.
I'm trying to understand though.
But the head of the government is called the Governor General. They represent in place of the monarch. And at the state level or the province level, they have a lieutenant governor who's the head. There's the premier who's like the governor here in the States, but there's the head who's the chief chief honcho, a ceremonial position, they don't report to the Canadian federal government. They report directly to the king. Like when you appoint a new lieutenant governor of your province, they fly to London and go meet with the king. It's kind of strange.
That is really interesting because, like, you're telling me
2010, Mike,
Canada,
she was in it. I don't remember her coming in 2000. Well, you know what? I didn't live in Canada in 2010. Sorry.
but that's absolutely crazy because this idea behind what we're seeing with the global elites, I've always wondered. I've heard people say that the head of the global elites are the Canadian, or not the Canadians, the monarchy. Like they're the ones who really run everything. And I said, how is that? I mean, American money, I would assume that it'd be top American money, our tech money. Those are the ones who are running the elites, right? But it actually makes sense when I think about now the monarchy could, at one point in the time, they did own America. They did own like a ton of other places. I mean, they have vast amounts of sea land money, like where they actually had they have a ton of. Anyways, long story short, the reason why I'm saying this is they are the ones who have to sign off on all the laws. Is that in my understanding?
Yeah,
that
they had to. It's called royal ascension. In that when the parliament passes a law and says, all right, we're going to raise the taxes up by 1% or do whatever, it's not a law in literally until the king's signature is on the bill. Or, in Canada, the governor general sits, in place for the king. It's interesting. You got to give them credit. They did own everything, and they owned it because they shot a lot of people and killed a lot of people. That's how the world works, right? But it's
at least up to 200 years ago.
But it's strange. This is a fun discussion that I have with Canadians a lot.
Yeah.
In that the monarchy blew it. Let's face it. I'll just put it out there. The rule of Queen Elizabeth was the largest disaster to ever happen to a government outside of communism. She reigned over the demise of one of the largest and greatest empires the world has ever seen since the Roman Empire 20,000 years ago, and or Alexander the Great, or whatever you want to say. And she was happy with it. She was happy. Oh, let's just let it go to shit. And the British Empire was the empire in which the sun never set, because it was around the world. They raped and pillaged and beat the shit out of everyone all over the planet. They'd show up somewhere. Hey, you got a flag? They'd be like, people like, no, I don't know what a flag is. Here's one, Union Jack. And so they'd claim it for themselves. And they lost almost their entire empire during her reign. And the places that still are the Commonwealth really are independent anyway, like Canada. It's under the auspices of the monarchy, but like Mike said, the monarch visited in 2010. Prince Harry came once or twice or something like that. They blew it. I should say Prince William showed up. Prince Harry came when he was having sex with the girl from Suits before they moved to the U.S.
That is, but I'll put it like this. Like, this is what I'm trying to say, though, is that if they wanted to, they could sit there and say, England's going to war and we want your young men. And they would have to agree and say, okay.
That's what happened in World War I. World War II happened. Guys from New Zealand
really?
got called up and said, you got to come from New Zealand to France and sit in the trenches. That's how it works when you're the king or the queen.
That's interesting. I didn't, I'm like looking at that like, wow. I'm just trying to see, it could, in modern day, in 2024, let's say stuff gets wild. Okay. Speaking of wild, like Biden just gave those ballistic missiles to Ukraine, and now Ukraine is using it and lighting up the Kremlin, right? Like you just lighten up Russia, sending it. And like, in case you want to get that again,
That was
Pew, 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 pew.
was that asteroids or space invaders? Which sound
That
was
would be
that?
space. I think that was Space Invaders.
Wasn't
Because
Galaga?
asteroids was do wasn't I,
Choo, choo, choo,
right?
choo.
Because there's do right. Anyways, just focus here. So, like, and let's say Queen of King Charles says, F that, forget that, nah, we ain't playing like that. We're gonna rally behind Ukraine because he's part of NATO, right? But he's not part of NATO, and boom, we've got another World War III, and they could literally bring people from Scotland, obviously England, New Zealand, Australia too.
Yeah, Australia,
and Canada. So basically, they could get about almost 1/3 of the land mass of population to go fight this war.
That's Mike.
You are really fuzzy.
I know that was weird.
Is that the ghost of DYOR playing around over here?
And the light's changing here today. I have to turn my camera on manual focus. Yeah, no, they technically I don't know. This is definitely a wandering Wednesday.
Definitely,
But
lost
not in
everybody.
Canada, except under an war footing or something. But in Australia, like the king can dismiss the parliament and said, "Nope, you guys suck. Let's have new elections, or no elections." In Canada, they used to be able to do that, but 25 years ago they changed it, or maybe longer than that now. Mike, you can probably correct me. Crypto Mike, funny thing is that I used to be in the business of building armored vehicles for the government, for the RCMP. And I knew Harry was coming to town because the RCMP guys are always like, oh, we have a special detail in Toronto. And they always ended up chatting with us. And we learned that they're like, oh, Harry's in for some business or something like that. And I was like, that's weird that Harry keeps coming to Toronto, but it's not a public thing. Usually when Prince shows up, like when Prince William would come, big to do. It's like the head of state showing up. But Prince Harry was just sneaking into Toronto and then leaving real quick. But they had some armored Suburbans. They'd move them around subtly without the big to do, but they always were prepared. And finally, the guys would be like, because I'd go I'd eat Pizza Hut buffet with these guys all the time. I'm like, hey, where's Bob? Or Jacques, because a bunch of them are Frenchies. And they're like, oh, they're in Toronto. They got that thing with the guy from England. And then it turns out he's been shagging what's her name? and that whole thing then blew up, and it was pretty funny. Pretty funny. Roland Rod, you know what? I don't think, Roland Rod, I've asked where you're from. I don't think I've asked where you're from. You said that's why people are leaving Canada. I got to tell you, some people are leaving Canada, but they're letting everyone in there. Charles Jansen says, time for an ad. You know what, Chuck? You called it before. We're going to do another ad, and then we'll come back and wrap this show up.
Absolutely.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, stick with us. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, thank you for putting up with that commercial break. Or if you're on Rumble, you probably just saw our thumbnail on that. But anyway, thank you to everyone on Rumble. There's a bunch of you watching that are not commenting. We'd really appreciate it if you dropped a comment or a thumbs up, a like. It's really easy to join Rumble. You don't need to pay them anything. I know you can pay them to join their premium. You don't need to do that. Just sign up, log in using your Google account or Twitter or Facebook. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. And drop a like button, drop a comment, and chat with us. We are actually a live show. That's how entertaining we are. It is live. Oh, and I got the music blasting too again.
Blasting loud.
And join the discussion. We got a lot of good people here. We have a good community here. A lot of regulars who not only want to get good information from us, but want to chat with each other too and have fun learning about crypto and how it intersects with the real world. And that's what we're here to talk about. So thank you to everyone watching on Rumble. We really appreciate it. I think I'm going to do an update here on Rumble and see if the great behind the machines thing says we've had 39 viewers on Rumble today. Actually, I would say quite low. We had the other night we had 200 people watching us. Dar baby, that was epic, epic comment. Drinking Zimas. For those of you who never knew what a Zima was, it was a horrible drink that had a fanatical cult following. This is the Topo Chico seltzer water. Topo Chico is just a highly carbonated seltzer. It's so good, especially when it's cold. Oh, delicious. I love it. Extreme Car Care says nothing happening on my side. Yeah, YouTube says when I press the ad button, it says insert manual ads, and then it says may not serve ads to some people. And for some reason, they deemed you worthy of not seeing an ad. Extreme Car Care sent me a message. I will take a look at it.
Yeah, so let's go ahead while we're doing that. Let's check out some real simple. So let's check out the AVAX trade. AVAX trade is starting to do a bit of a sell-off here. I expect to see, I'm going to remove this support level here.
Hold on one sec. Extreme Car Care, to answer your question, it's supposed to serve you an ad. I see the picture you sent me, but the thumbnail that you see is me manually putting that up because on YouTube it serves the ads, but we're streaming on 5 other places too. It doesn't do it automatically like that. So I put the thumbnail up, but normally I have a countdown on it, and I have to do that manually too. And this is a new process for me, so I don't always do that. But thanks for letting me know. And Pedro, not to hork your time here, but Chuck has done a masterpiece of ChatGTP. I'm gonna read this to you. Wandering Wednesday, crypto shenanigans. Tom and Pedro were the self-proclaimed dynamic duo of crypto analysis, hosting their weekly live stream Wandering Wednesday. Their motto: we analyze, we speculate, we occasionally crash the market. This week's episode began with Tom dramatically pointing at a chart on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin is forming the rarely seen double duck formation. This is huge. Pedro squinted into the chart. Double duck formation? You just drew 2 ducks on the candlestick graph? Tom grinned. It's called branding, Pedro. The viewers love it. The live chat buzzed with confusion. What the F is a double duck? Is this financial advice or a petting zoo? Quack coin to the moon. Pedro, the realist, ignored the chat and turned to Tom. Okay, what's actually trending? Please don't say another meme coin. Tom's face lit up. I'm glad you asked. Check this out. Sloth token is up 300%. Pedro groaned. You mean the coin whose tagline is literally slow and steady loses the race? Tom nodded enthusiastically. Exactly. The reverse psychology is genius. Now, get this. I'm reading this for the first time ever here. Moments later, a loud ping echoed. Pedro glanced at the screen. Tom, did you just YOLO our channel's entire budget into Sloth token? Tom shrugged. It's called believing in the brand, Pedro. The stream suddenly froze as their charting software crashed. When it returned, the screen showed a spinning GIF of a sloth winking. Pedro, Tom whispered, I think we've gone viral. Yeah, Pedro. Side, scrolling through the comments, but not in the way we wanted. Viewer number 1. Best comedy show ever. 2. Financial advice. Avoid these guys like a rug pull. Viewer 3. Someone tell them sloth token just rugged. Tom leaned back in his chair grinning. Well, Pedro, we may have lost our budget, but we gained content. Pedro shook his head. Next week, we're analyzing real coins. Sure, Tom said, already Googling funniest new meme coins. And thus, Wandering Wednesday continued its journey through the wild, unpredictable world of crypto and chaos.
That is epic.
Unbelievably epic. And I want to know what prompt you used to create that.
Yes.
Because that was genius. Crypto and chaos, that could be another segment, name of a segment for the show.
Crypto and chaos. I love it, dude. That is absolutely amazing. Wandering Wednesday, crypto chaos. Dude, that is actually really good. You talk about a hump day, Wandering Wednesday, crypto chaos. That is actually going to be it. Dude, you've had some great. He was the genesis of full rant Friday, right?
Yeah. Full rant Friday.
He was the genesis of or were we the genesis Meme Coin Monday?
No, I made that up.
I mean, just Dr. J or Kungar, dude, or Mr. Chicken. Look, you are on fire, dude. I would love it if we could actually get him just to be one of our guys, dude, just to come on.
He's tried. You know he's tried in the past. He had some streaming gear and stuff like that. Back in the day, I tried to get him to come on, and
got it.
Never did.
We have to.
Never did.
We have to, man. We have to. And the reason why I say we have to is because, like, you know how Howard Stern or a couple of these other guys, right? They have guys like, the guy, what's his name, Beetlejuice. Now you're nothing like Beetlejuice. Just saying. But you know, he'd be out in the street and he'd be doing stuff, and then he'd call up Howard Stern and be like, "Dude, you're not gonna believe what I found out," right? Whatever, you know. And then everything would turn to him. He'd be like, you know, it was awesome. But now that we have obviously he had a full camera crew out there and doing all this stuff, but I think it would be epic to even have his show on his phone and have him come on and be like, so let me explain, you know, and just almost like, let's see what Dr. J is doing today. Like, you know, like, you know, you know, so I think that'd be pretty dope. Sooner or later, Dr. Fire Chicken TV, right here, right now. Right here, right now.
You beat me to it.
Anyways, so jump back to AVAX here real quick. A real token. Yeah, so we were talking about AVAX getting in. I actually bought some down in these levels here of that $24 range. Nice little pump. I'm expecting to see a pullback here. I was hoping that we were going to see this thing come up to that 57 area, but it's looking like it's kind of pulling back here. So I'm looking to see a few of this, see this play potentially get pumping like it's going, like a rock star. So I'm looking maybe potentially back down to this 28,000 mark area as a pullback area. And then from there, picking up some more AVAX as it pulls down to that 28 mark. So I like AVAX. They're doing a lot of good stuff as a company. I wish I would have bought a lot more over here when it was at that $19, but I picked up quite a bit, which I'm happy. I know that our good old friend Chris Alexander, CA over there, picked up a lot, as he said to us on his show.
By accident.
By accident. I even said, I was like, he picked up, I think it was like in here, this level here at that $10. When it hit that 58, he was like, and he said, he was like, I was rich for a little bit. It was really bad. I can only imagine, dude. But it's a great, I just like what it's doing and some of the stuff that they have going on.
Let's see if we can bring that up here.
Also, I want to bring up, I'm kind of switching here real quick before we kind of sign off the today's show. I want to go over this here real quick. For Matic, we haven't seen much of Matic really pumping, except it coming down from that 28-cent area. I'm really hoping that we're going to see a good little pump. Now, Tom, we talked about this, I think 2 weeks ago. I said I expect to see at least come up to that 51-cent area. And we got close. We got close to that 47 mark. And this was back here when it was at that 30 cents. So happy for my friend here because she's definitely liking Matic. So I do expect us to see us come at least try to tap this 49 to 50 cent area. Prior to that, we should see it come down maybe a little bit further to pick up a little bit more buyers than at that 38 cents. But we see before we see that next leg up as it continues. So be ready for that, guys, if we do come down here to pick up some more here. All right.
Hold on, I'm practicing working with the great graphic machine here, Matic. Polygon says it's a $1 billion market cap, and it's only traded $18 million. That's too low for a major coin, $18 million. Avalanche had traded when it was up. Avalanche traded the past 24 hours, almost $1 billion. It was like 800 million. But $18 million in 24-hour volume is lower than a whole ton of crappy meme coins.
And yeah. I mean, literally. But again, I think Matic is getting ready to pump. So this is why I'm saying this, is that we could potentially see some big money starting to come in here with this amount. Even on those low trading days, you guys could pick up some and then see. And I'm pretty positive. I mean, I don't think we've seen the end of Matic. I think we're going to see a lot of Matic coming up here soon. They have a good organization. They have a lot of stuff going on for them. And I expect to see Poly kind of pick up once it gets through that zone right here, that $50 zone to the 200-day period moving average right here. And if we can get through that with volume, I'm expecting this to jump up easily to that 78, 74. And right now, if it pulls back down to that 40 cent, that's a good 2x on a major coin. If not, if this thing really starts to take off, and we see it pump again, we can see Matic again at all-time highs of that 288 area here. And in a major coin area, I think this is a gem to be able to pick up from now at 43 cents to 36 cents, right? So that's all I'm saying with that. I think they fall in and out of favor. But when the bull market comes, everybody gets love, right? And we see cyclical rotation between all the coins where money gets put in, it shoots up, does a 10, 20, 30x, right? And then people take their money out and then it jumps back down to about maybe 50%, 60%, right? And it's at a new all-time high, but still at a new kind of like a low. It creates a new local low as it pulls back. So some of those things I just want to prepare us for, so that we can actually take a part of it when it starts to push. Also, I actually was going to bring up these guys here again. TRX exploded over the
Tron. What's going on with Tron?
Yeah, exploded again, came back up here, and they're touching that 8 period moving average again. So I feel like it's going to come back through this. So you could pick up some Tron between 18 cents to about 19 cents as it comes down into these areas here. Again, it is strong like bull. Like this thing
strong is like bull.
It's just it's a solid thing. It's still in the top 100. Or isn't TRX either in the top 10 or 100? Let me check here real quick on CoinMarketCap.
The great graphic machine says it's a $16 billion market, almost 17 billion, with $1 billion traded in the past 24 hours, or I should say 900 billion.
Yeah, dude, they're
I'm
just
sorry,
a solid
900
group.
million, not 900 billion.
But either or, anything above 500 mil is just an insane amount of trading volume. So, and that's money coming into their ecosystems for them to create new things and build new things. So, it's still like Tron. I wish I would have picked up more when it was down at 7 cents, 8 cents, but it's just a beast. This thing right here, man. Right here.
It's a Mr. Beast, it's a Taylor Swift, it's a Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, Mr. Joe Rogan. You know, it's funny. You say that name, and it literally pushes our algorithm over at Rebel. We say Trump. As soon as I start saying, I really, really don't necessarily like Trump, but I do like the things that he's starting to push towards that is so outside of the norm with his cabinet. I love that about Trump. I think he's bringing these crazy guys in that are just going to literally mix things up. Mr. Trump President-elect Trump. Man, one day I hope that this pays off and we see this country completely change and just do amazing. But it's going to be really interesting. And I love how you're pissing off a lot of the far right and the far left. So keep it happening.
Well, it's interesting here. We'll talk U.S. versus Canada again. The appointment of these ministers, using the Canadian word, the secretaries to head these departments, they're all independent people that are not part of government. In fact, they're exclusively not elected officials at all. Or I should say, not exclusively, they're just not elected officials at all. And in Canada, the heads, the Prime Minister's cabinet is ministers, otherwise known as secretaries here in the US, and they're all elected officials. So it's really strange how, like here, we divide. We say the people from the legislature cannot be part of the administration and the running of the government day to day. But in Canada, they're like, no, we want to have the elected people also be the head bureaucrats and the head of all these departments. And I got to tell you, in each system that has its pros and cons. Like in the U.S., you can put political appointees in that have no idea what they're doing. Like, I'm going to be the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, State Department, run the State Department. And they're like, you've never left Florida in your whole life, Florida man. But in Canada, they can take an elected official and put him in charge of running a department, like the Department of Veterans Affairs or whatever they call it in Canada. And they have no idea about healthcare. And they're just an elected official. And it's really weird how they put the people that got elected to actually be the head bureaucrats too. Strange stuff in both governments, but I always scratch my head in Canada. I'm like, as you know, Mrs. Striking deals with the government all the time. And so I'm always asking these questions, and I'm like, why is that? And she's like, it's the way we are. And she'll ask me the same question. Why do you guys do that? And I'll be like, because that's the way we are.
The way it is. Sometimes the way it is. Sometimes it's better just to.
Joe Rogan token coming to soon on Infinium. Joe. That has to be already a token. There's no way. The token market is like Google. There's no subject you can possibly think of that you can type into to Google or like on YouTube, that video. Somebody made a video about whatever topic you're thinking. Joe Rogan clearly already has to be an existing token.
Has to be. Absolutely. I agree.
Chuck, thanks for joining us really today. He's back to mining the fiat and being the family practitioner. Good for you. Once again, another thing, Pedro, do you know that 6 million people in Canada do not have a doctor?
That is crazy.
And not because they don't want one or don't go to the doctor. It's that that's the waiting list to get a doctor in Canada. In the U.S., you can walk on any street corner, and there's an urgent care with a doctor sitting there, always waiting to take new patients.
Yep.
And in Canada, 6 million people. They only have 40 million. 6 million people. And then what the government did is they let, in the past 10 years, they let, I think, 8 million immigrants come into the country. Intentionally, not illegals like we do here. 8 million immigrants come in, but they did not expand the healthcare system. And in Canada, in all the provinces, there's some sort of universal payer or national healthcare. It's not Canada-wide, it's province-wide. And they did not expand. So all they did was add to the waiting list for a doctor. And nor did they increase the medical school students. It's one of the most head-scratcher things, like, well, we don't, it's a budget because it's national health care, the government has to pay for it, and they don't want to raise your taxes. They want to pay more for it. But they let more people in the country. So it's just a weird thing. And even the Minister of Immigration came out the other day and said, hey, all these kids we're letting in for school to come to our universities, they don't leave. They just stay here. Who knew? Like, There are certain towns which you only speak Hindu, or only speak Taiwanese, or only speak Chinese. You know, the various flavors. There's so many immigrants, which is fine. Immigration is good. We need it. But they didn't expand the services for them. They didn't expand the services like healthcare, transportation, blah blah blah. They're like, oh well, we'll worry about that later. It's too late. Now 6 people are without a doctor. Even to get a specialist. Mrs. Striking had to go see a specialist for something. And they're like, that could be 6 months. Like here, it's like tomorrow you get a specialist.
Yeah,
really weird.
Good.
Wandering Wednesday, once again, ladies and gentlemen. Pedro and I are fading. We've been on the air for, I don't know, 3 hours now.
2 hours. 3 hours. Good God.
No, 2 hours. 2 hours.
yes. Either way, I am ready to go because my brain is shutting off. So, I just didn't sleep well because I got the munchies last night, and we all know when you eat at night, you don't sleep that well. So don't do it. Words from Pedro.
Well, we missed our friend Jesus today, or Judas, or whatever it was. He's out doing stuff. Normally he goes to the last comment of the day. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for putting up with us on Wandering Wednesdays. Didn't talk really much about the news. Ooh, that's too loud.
It's real loud.
I gotta find that thing. Turn it down now.
By the way, I absolutely love the new graphic. How when you just type it in, it puts it up and it puts all the dope stuff in it.
I know I got to work on that.
Keep that up.
I'm hacking a free version of an API that I need to pay for, and I'm running out of free requests. But I'll work on it here soon. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for putting up with us. We are not going to be on tonight because Tom is tired of streaming. I know Pedro thought we were going to be on tonight, but that's too much. We need to take a break and relax our stuff. I've got to also get some Crypto Swamp Creatures podcasts out for Chris and Justin. So we will be here tomorrow. And we're going to have a guest tomorrow. The guys from Too Legit to Quit. Legit DAO is going to be on. You've seen Steve Rodrigue here in our chat the past few days. The Legit DAO guys will be here. So anyway, join us tomorrow here on the regular Bat channel. Crypto Mike, thanks for your attention as always, and your informing us of when my ramblings go awry about Canadian stuff. Really appreciate it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for you today. So we will see you tomorrow. As they say, as we always say, ciao.
Same bat time. Ciao.